Well, football season's over. Eagles are the champions of the National Football League. Now it's time for some spring training and some MLB baseball. Kacey, start us off. What are we excited for?
Well, personally, I hope that the Phillies can come back from a disappointing season for the last couple of years. We were so close 2 years ago, and it was ripped right from under us. However, we do have some new fantastic additions to the team. We have a couple of new additions from our minor affiliate, the Iron Pigs in the Lehigh Valley. And we also have Kent Emanuel, who's a pitcher on the Astros. So hopefully some new talent. I think a lot of people are really getting too comfortable with the team that we've seen. Harper, JT, Alec. I think we're ready for some fresh new talent.
Yeah, Sam, how are the Orioles looking this spring training?
Team, I think, definitely has regressed in terms of some talent. Corbin Burns being gone is rough. But, you got some decent additions. Sagano's a good way to round out the bullpen. Old Charlie Morton really isn't much. O'Neill's a decent Santander replacement. I think they're mostly just banking on letting the guys grow another year, which, I would have liked to see a star added. But
Yeah, I mean, I'll respect the American League champion New York Yankees. A little questionable with the offseason, Soto going. I personally would have not wanted to pay one person all that money. I think them picking up players like Devin Williams, Paul Goldschmidt, Cody Bellinger, and the mentality is that this isn't 2017 anymore, so it's kind of hard to play this game of like, if I was a kid, this team would be amazing.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we're a little older now, and they're going to have to prove themselves if this team could play past their age. But I think the main team going into this season, past spring training, guys, it's the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yes.
Let's just go into
100%.
it. Who's beating them?
No, they have I did some reading. They have a 20% chance of winning the World Series again this year. Meanwhile, other teams, Phillies only have a 4% chance. And let's be real, there's not a high chance of someone else beating them unless there's just a complete surprise by a team that can come out of nowhere.
They pick up Sasaki from Japan with an ERA of 2 and over 500 strikeouts. I mean, this guy is only 23 years old, I believe, and going into a 9-man rotation, Sam.
Yeah.
What do you do with that?
I mean, granted, the Dodgers have had injury issues for years, but, you got a rotation of currently Yamamoto, Ohtani until he comes back. You got Sasaki, you got
Glass
now. You got Snell. Screw a rotation of aces. This is a rotation of Cy Young candidates.
Yeah.
Plus guys like Kershaw, Gavin Stone, you got Bobby Miller, you have Tony Gonsolin, plenty of depth guys. Their AAA rotation is better than I'd say probably half of MLB's rotations.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to go into the season with only the villain of injuries to go against. Other than that, I don't see many teams being able to compete against them.
Not at all.
Not at
But
all.
other teams than the Dodgers, who do we think are going to be sleeper teams? Personally, I say the Orioles and the Royals, as I coined it, a royal regression. I think the Tigers are going to be coming in with their pickups of Tommy Kahnle, Jack Flaherty, and Gleyber Torres among players. But I think Orioles and Royals not looking too good, Kook.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I think the Orioles will regress, but I think we'll still definitely be in the playoff consideration. I actually think that the Royals, I have an opposite opinion of them. I believe their additions this offseason, they're getting a year older, which, for a team like New York, where it's older, that's not as great of a thing when you have a team like the Royals that are younger. That's obviously a sign of improvement. And then they have made a good offseason. They kept Michael Wacha around, which I thought was great. Signed Carlos Estevez to bolster the bullpen. And they just have a team that I think is built perfectly for a postseason push. And you mentioned the Tigers. I think they're going to be really good.
Let's go into now season awards, MVPs. I'm going to start off. I think Judge might run it back with a 50-plus home run season, a little ambitious. And then I got to go with Juan Soto with the Mets. I think he's going to have an even better career with the Mets his first season than he did with the Yankees.
I completely agree. I think that the hype is just going to really follow him. I mean, that could go to his head and he could play horribly, but of course, he's with the fresh new team. Sorry. Personally, I think that the Phillies could go again for Bryce Harper for MVP for the 4th time. I think he's a great asset to our team. However, I do think that they do tend to party a little bit too hard when they find out that they
a win's a win. A win isn't
they're we can't rest. We need to.
And Kook, and lastly, Orioles. Yay, nay, how we feeling?
I'm feeling like this offseason, it's a bit of a boom, but spring training's coming. Adley's looking really good allegedly so far, so I think this team might get a few big booms.
Yeah, well, I'm very excited to see it. I personally think Jazz Chisholm of the Yankees is going to have a sneaky good year for it, but that'll be for later in the season. Now we're going to feel the love from Valentine's Day with James and Mendy for Prime Time on the Streets.